Funding for Scholastic Scrimmage is provided by the Air Products Foundation. The foundation is supported by donations from Air Products and Chemicals Incorporated as a charitable organization whose contributions provide support for educational, cultural, health, and community programs in the Lehigh Valley. The series is also made possible by Channel 39 School Services participating districts.
WLVT-TV presents Scholastic Scrimmage, a weekly program featuring teams from Lehigh Valley High Schools in a contest of quick recall. Tonight's teams are from Wilson High School and Pius X High School. Your host for Scholastic Scrimmage is Harry Price.
Good evening and welcome to Scholastic Scrimmage. We're going to meet the teams and the coaches, then we'll begin the contest. From Wilson High School, J.C. Lansing, a sophomore. Phil Trock, a sophomore. Captain Keith Kreitz, sophomore. Don Leidick, a senior. And the coach is Dennis Lawback, a teacher of English. From Pius X High School, Angela Ruggiero. Angela is a junior. Caroline Dunakey, the captain, is a senior. Robert Pohl, a senior. Michael Serino, a junior. And the coach is Kathy Steele, teacher of chemistry and physics. Channel 39 is pleased to announce that at the conclusion of the series, after the championship contest, the Air Products Foundation will present a $1,500 scholarship award to the championship high school and a $750 award to the runner-up high school. Remember, the answers to the questions on Scholastic Scrimmage require rapid recall of factual information and aren't necessarily indicative of academic training. The rules for the contest are as follows. You'll be given 10 points for each correct answer to a toss-up question, and an incorrect answer, we will deduct 10 points. If you answer incorrectly, then the opposing team will have an opportunity to answer without penalty. They'll receive 5 points for a correct answer in this situation. Of course, each correct answer to a toss-up question gives you the opportunity to answer a bonus question without penalty. Team members may confer only on the bonus questions, and the answers to these questions should be given to me by the two team captains. A buzzer will signal the end of the contest. If it sounds while a question is being asked, the game stops. If the buzzer goes off while you're answering, however, you will be permitted to complete your answer, but no bonus questions will be asked. Are there any questions? If not, we're going to begin with our first toss-up, and we're preparing for a 10-point bonus. For 10 points, name the town where John Brown seized a federal arsenal in 1859. Wilson, Keith.
Harper's Ferry.
Correct, on the night of October 16th, 1859. Here's your bonus, a 10-pointer, Keith, for you and the team. You give me the answers. I'll name 2 Canadian provinces. For 5 points each, you name the capital cities of these provinces. First one, Ontario. Keith?
Montreal.
Incorrect. Toronto. British Columbia. Keith?
Vancouver.
Incorrect also. It's Victoria. We're going on to another toss-up, looking again at a 10-point bonus. The Napoleonic Wars are the subject of what Tolstoy novel? Pius. Caroline.
War and Peace.
War and Peace is correct. Took place, the setting for the book took place 1805 to 1813. Your bonus, a 10-pointer, Caroline, for you and the team. What's the name of the Islamic Bible which consists of the sayings of Muhammad? Caroline?
The Koran.
Correct. Toss-up, going for a 10-point bonus. For 10 points, give me the standard term for the study of earthquakes and earthquake waves. Wilson, Phil.
Seismology.
Correct. Bonus 10-pointer, Keith. For 10 points, what element's oxide is the very hard mineral known as corundum? Keith.
Beryl.
Not beryl. Aluminum. Aluminum oxide is corundum. Here's your toss-ups on the monitor in mathematics. I want you to solve the equation you see there for x. That's 5 to the 2x minus 1 power is equal to 125. Wilson, Phil.
X equals 2.
Correct. Bonus 10-pointer. It's a mathematical bonus question. Listen carefully. Consider a circle that is 4 inches in radius, Wilson, A circle 4 inches in radius. If the radius is enlarged by 1 inch, by how many inches is the circumference increased? No response from Wilson. It would be 2 pi inches. The next one. By how many square inches is the area of that circle increased? No response on that. It would be 9 pi square inches. We'll go on to another toss-up looking for a 10-point bonus. I want to check your historical vocabulary. For 10 points, give me the popular 6-letter name for the military commander-in-chief who controlled the samurai in feudal Japan. Wilson, Dawn.
Ninja.
Incorrect. Ninja was given. Over to Pius 10. Toss-up. Caroline.
Shogun.
Shogun is correct. You got 5 on the rebound, Caroline. Here's your bonus, 10-pointer. I'll give you the dates, and for 5 points each, you name the U.S. president. First set of dates, 1817 to 1825. Caroline.
Andrew Jackson.
Incorrect. James Monroe. How about 1825 to 1829? Caroline?
Andrew Jackson.
No, that would be John Quincy Adams. They were the 5th, Monroe the 5th president, Adams the 6th president of the U.S. Going for a 10-point bonus toss-up. What mark of punctuation is used to join 2 independent clauses not separated by conjunction? Pius, Angela.
Semicolon.
Correct. Often described as a soft period, weak period, or a strong comma. Here's your bonus, a 10-pointer. Caroline, for you and the team. From the following, which of these levels of usage is most appropriate for everyday conversation? Would it be colloquial, formal, obsolete, or technical? Caroline.
Colloquial.
Correct again. Toss-up, going for a 10-pointer. For 10 points, what tribe of Indians signed the walking purchase? It's a little local Pennsylvania history. It's the Delaware Indians. Delaware Indians. Another toss-up. It's on the monitor. It's an art visual. Architecture is an old and noble profession, and on your monitor is a famous church, St. Paul's Cathedral in London. I want you to name the architect. It's Sir Christopher Wren. He worked on St. Paul's after the 1666 Great Fire of London, and he's generally considered the greatest of all English architects. Toss-up, going for a 10-pointer. In what state is Stanford University located? Wilson, Keith.
California.
Correct, near Palo Alto, California. Bonus 10-pointer, Keith, for you and the team. To strive, to seek, and to find, and not to yield is the closing line from which poem but Tennyson? No response from Wilson. It's Ulysses. Going for a 10-pointer, toss-up. What's the standard 2-word term for a ridge through which a river runs in a narrow cut? Wilson, Phil.
Water gap.
Correct. Bonus 10-pointer. I'll give you 2 abbreviations taken from the fields of biology and medicine, Keith. For 5 points each, give me the exact phrases which these abbreviations represent. First one, B as in boy, M as in mother, R. BMR. Keith.
Basal metabolic rate.
Correct. A, R, C. We were looking their ARC for AIDS-related complex. Could be a few others, and I was prepared for that. You got 1 out of 2 for 5 points, going for a 10-pointer. Toss-up. The Munich Agreement turned over part of what country to Hitler prior to World War II? Pius 10, Caroline.
Italy.
Incorrect. Over to Wilson. Dawn.
Poland.
Not Poland. Czechoslovakia, signed September 30, 1938. Munich Agreement. Toss-up, going for a 10-pointer. The general meaning of the word Holocaust is a complete destruction by fire. For 10 points, no correcting yourself once you've begun, spell Holocaust. Wilson, Phil.
Holocaust.
Correct. Bonus 10-pointer for Wilson. It's a question on formal or forming plurals, on forming plurals. I'll name 2 singular nouns, and for 5 points apiece, I want you to spell the plural forms. Here's your first singular. Potato. Keith.
Potatos.
Correct. Solo. Keith?
SOLOS.
Correct, and we would also have accepted SOLI, which is pronounced solely. Going for a 10-point bonus toss-up. Give the most commonly used name for the compound whose chemical formula is H3PO4. No response. Phosphoric acid. Another toss-up. I want you to listen closely. It is mathematics, and again, it's a toss-up question. For 10 points, if y is a positive number that is equal to 4 to the x power, again, y is a positive number that equals 4 to the x power, and if x is equal to 5 halves, 5 divided by 2, what's the final numerical value of y? It would be 4 to the 5 halves power, which is 32. Another toss-up, going for a 10-point bonus. The men who drafted the Constitution provided for its amendment in which article? It would be the 5th article. Another toss-up, multiple choice, going again for a 10-point bonus. Which one of the following statements is generally true concerning the English language? First one, it contains few idioms. Second, it is constantly changing. Third one, it is less than 500 years old. And the fourth, it is the only language with slang expressions. Pius 10, Robert.
Constantly changing.
You are correct. The second one I gave you, I'm going to give you your bonus, then we'll take the halftime break. Here's your bonus, 10-pointer for you and the team, Caroline. Here are the first 4 words of a familiar 9-word epigram. For fools, rush in. For 5 points, give me the exact 5 remaining words in the epigram. No response from Pius 10. It would be, for fools rush in, I gave you, where angels fear to tread. Now, the second part, 4 5 points. Identify the 18th century British essayist and satirist who created the epigram. It would be Alexander Pope. It's in his essay on criticism. We're going to take a halftime break now with the score at half, 65 for Wilson and 45 for Pius 10. J.C. Lansing, during our first round, we do ask our contestants to share with us information about their families. We'd like you to begin.
My father is a vice president and sales manager for the Alistair Corporation. My mother is an executive assistant to the president of First Valley Bank. I have 2 married sisters, one brother who is 21 and goes to Clemson University, and another who is 25 and is a project manager.
Thank you, J.C. Phil Trock.
My father is vice president and quality control manager of Laboratory Testing Incorporated. My mother is co-owner of Paint and Pretty, and I have a 12-year-old brother in Philip Lauer Middle School.
Thanks, Phil. Captain Keith Kreitz.
My father is an accountant for Picatinny Arsenal. My stepmother is also a secretary for Picatinny Arsenal. I have a sister who's 21 and a brother who's 18.
Thank you, Keith. Dawn Leidick.
My father works as the chief engineer at the nuclear physics lab at Rutgers University. My mother's a bookkeeper with Ken Brader's music store. I have an older brother, David, who's in college, a younger sister, Beth, who's in the 7th grade at St. Jane's, and a half-brother, Christopher, who's 17 months old.
Thank you, Dawn. Thanks to Wilson. Let's go over to Pius 10. Angela Ruggiero.
My father is a toll collector at the Delaware Joint Toll Bridge Commission. My mother is a housewife. I have an older sister and a younger brother.
Thanks, Angela. Captain Caroline Dunnicky.
My father is employed by Airco Industrial Gases. My mother owns and operates Case Tower Shop in Bangor. My sister Kathy owns a daycare center in Wilkes-Barre. And my brother Russell is manager in training for Domino's Pizza in Allentown. And my sister Heather is working her way through college.
Thank you, Caroline. Robert Pohl.
My mother is a household engineer. My father is a chemical engineer. My sister Olga is in 5th grade at Our Lady of Mount Carmel Elementary School.
Thanks, Robert. Finally, Michael Serino.
My father is a letter carrier, my mother is a homemaker, and I have a younger sister who's a freshman at Pius.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks to Pius 10. Again, the score at half is 65 for Wilson, 45 for Pius 10. Very close contest. We will begin the second half with the toss-up, looking at a 10-point bonus. This is a general information question. From what substance is linen made? Wilson, Phil.
Flax.
Correct. The plant, flax. Your bonus, 10-pointer, Keith. I'll name 3 minerals. For 5 points each, identify the hardest among these 3 and the softest of these 3. The minerals are feldspar, gypsum, and quartz. Keith, hardest first.
Quartz is the hardest.
Softest?
And the softest is gypsum.
You are correct. You've got your points. Going for a 10-pointer. Here's your toss-up. For 10 points, what is the common logarithm of the reciprocal of 1,000? Again, the common logarithm of the reciprocal of 1,000 is a -3. Toss up. Looking at a 10-point bonus. Name the American naval officer in command of the fleet which defeated Spanish forces at Manila in 1898. That would be George Dewey, who later became Admiral of the Navy. Another toss-up. It's a listening toss-up, multiple choice. Listen to the excerpt. We just heard a segment of Canon in D major for 10 points, and from the following, I want you to identify the composer. Telemann, Purcell, Pachelbel, Wilson, Phil.
Pachelbel.
Pachelbel. Johann Pachelbel, a German composer, organist, and composer, and I think a version of that was extremely popular in the 70s. Here's your bonus 10-pointer, Keith, for you and the team. He was a trombonist, arranger, and dance band leader who entered the Army Air Force in 1942. 2 years later, the military plane in which he was a passenger disappeared. For 10 points, I want you to name this musician whose theme song was In the Mood. Keith.
Glenn Miller?
Correct. Now our parents will be happy, right, that we got that. Going for a 10-point bonus.
Grandparents.
Yes, grandparents, I should say, probably. Here's your toss-up for 10 points. What's the capital city of South Dakota? Wilson, Dawn.
Pierre.
Correct. And your bonus, you might want a paper and pencil for this because I'm going to give you a list of 5 nations. It's a 2-part geographical bonus question. Consider the following 5 nations of Southwest Asia: Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, and Turkey. For 5 points each, I want you to identify which of these nations has first the largest land area. Keith?
Saudi Arabia.
Correct. Now I want you to tell me which one has the largest population. Keith?
Iran?
No, it would be Turkey. Turkey, slightly ahead of Iran, probably about 7 or 8 million in excess population. Going for a 10-point bonus, toss-up. In Tennessee Williams' play, The Glass Menagerie, what animal in Laura's collection, which was her favorite animal, was symbolic of her character? It was the unicorn. Another toss-up, going for a 10-pointer. What are the smallest units into which a substance can be subdivided and still have the properties of that substance? Wilson, Dawn.
Molecule?
Correct. Bonus 10-pointer, Keith. Parthenogenesis. Parthenogenesis is common among certain insects. For 10 points, what's the most remarkable thing about the egg that develops into a new individual by the process of parthenogenesis? Keith?
The offspring is exactly like the parent.
Incorrect. The answer to that, I said, what is the most remarkable thing about the egg? How can it develop? It is an unfertilized egg. It's not fertilized. Here's your toss-up, going for a 10-pointer. The Strait of Messina is a channel between the Italian mainland and what island? Wilson, Phil.
Sicily.
Correct. Here's your bonus 10-pointer, Keith. It's a geographical bonus question again for you. Yellowstone National Park occupies portions of 3 states. One of the states is Wyoming. For 5 points each, name the other 2. I'm sorry. I think you just missed it. Again, I'm looking for the other 2 states. Yellowstone National Park, Wyoming is 1. Montana and Idaho would be the other 2. Going for a 10-point bonus, toss-up. Give me the noun starting with the letter G that refers to a rainwater spout in the figure of a grotesque head. Wilson, Phil.
Gargoyle.
Correct. 10-point multiple choice bonus, Keith. For 10 points and from the following, what is the synonym of blithe? B-L-I-T-H-E. Is it blighted, jugular, lithe, or joyous? Keith?
Jugular?
Jugular, no. It's joyous, blithe spirit. Going for a 10-point bonus toss-up. It's on the monitor. It's a mathematical toss-up. Consider that quadratic equation, x squared plus x plus 1 is equal to 0. For 10 points, what is the numerical value of the discriminant? No response from either team. It's a -3. Another toss-up. Name the oil company that filed a Chapter 11 bankruptcy petition in April 1987 after being ordered to pay Pennzoil more than $10 billion. Wilson, Phil.
Texaco.
Correct. They were ordered to pay more than $10 billion in damages. The company is presently, Texaco is discussing an out-of-court settlement with Pennzoil. You got a correct answer, Keith. Here's your bonus 10-pointer. Name the senator who chaired the Congressional Iran-Contra Committee. Keith.
Inouye?
Correct. Daniel Inouye, New Mexico. Going for a 10-pointer. Toss-up. I'm sorry, Hawaii. I said New Mexico. It's Hawaii. Here's your toss-up, going for a 10-pointer. I'll describe a sociological term which begins with the letter D as in dog. For 10 points, please identify the term. Someone who violates the accepted norms of the society. Pius, Caroline.
Deviant?
Correct, Caroline. Bonus, Caroline, for you and the team, 10-pointer. For the word I say, I want you to give the opposite word that begins with the letter E. Here's the word, consistent. Caroline.
No response.
No response. Erratic or eccentric I would have also accepted. Going for a 15-point bonus. Toss up. In what state is Pikes Peak located? Pius 10, Caroline.
Colorado?
Correct, near Colorado Springs. Bonus 15-pointer, Caroline. 5 points each. Locate these famous American streets by city. First one, Bourbon Street. Caroline.
No response.
New Orleans. Second one, Wilshire Boulevard and Sunset Boulevard. Caroline?
Los Angeles.
Correct. Peachtree Street. Caroline?
Tampa Bay.
No, incorrect. It would be Atlanta. You got 1 out of the 3 for 5 points. Going for a 10-pointer. Toss up. Name the Austrian physician who is the leader in developing the practice of psychoanalysis. Wilson, Keith.
Sigmund Freud.
Correct, in the early 1900s. Here's your bonus, Keith. What's the French term used for the sudden overthrow of an existing government? Keith.
Laissez-faire.
No, that would be to leave alone. Coup d'etat, I was looking for, sudden overthrow. Here's your toss-up, going for a 10-pointer. I'm going to define a term related to the principles or practices of government, and I want you to identify the term. A system in which the majority party member on a committee with the most years of service is named the chairperson. Seniority. Another toss-up. The subject is British literature of the early 18th century. I'll name the writing. I'm asking the questions to toss up. It's the final buzzer. The final score is 180 for Wilson High School, and for Pius 10, we have 70 points. Caroline, we appreciate you and Pius 10 being with us. We want to wish you and Robert success in college. Michael and Angela will be back with us next year. Wilson, congratulations. You're awfully young, 3 sophomores and a senior woman, and I do congratulate you. You're going to be back here in the second round against the winner of next week's contest. That'll be in late March when you appear. And the contestants next week will be from Jim Thorpe and Penn Argyl High Schools. This is Harry Price. Thank you for being with us, and good night.
Funding for Scholastic Scrimmage is provided by the Air Products Foundation. The foundation is supported by donations from Air Products and Chemicals Incorporated as a charitable organization whose contributions provide support for educational, cultural, health, and community programs in the Lehigh Valley. The series is also made possible by Channel 39 School Services participating districts.
Louis Rukeyser's 1980